Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Hey Matt, I just wanted to check in on you since we last talked. It's been a little while since you shared the full extent of everything that's been going on, and I've just been thinking about you. I'm a little worried. I love you. No pressure. I just want to make sure you're doing okay. Give me a call or shoot me a text. All right. Love you. Bye.
Cannot just say the things you don't know about me. Where to begin? I guess I'll just let out this thing. Can you hear? Well, my friends have dreams that fuck with my low self-esteem. These scattered routines will be the death of me. Lost still upset. This isn't the way it played out in my head. Can't seem to focus 'cause I'm seeing red. Forget the feeling of being content. Is this the extent? I'll lie here and wait, consumed by the choices I've made. Well, is it too late? Is this the death of me? I'm starting to say, I'm still upset. This isn't the way it played out in my head. Can't seem to focus 'cause I'm seeing red. Forget the feeling of being content. Is this the extent? I'm stuck in slow motion. A time and devotion. But no, you're not worth my time. Was a few worth the climb. Everyone knows this. I noticed your plans will unwind. Oh, what a life that you're choosing to lead. Mind the veins as you're sinking your day. I'm still upset. This isn't the way it played out in my head. Can't seem to focus 'cause I'm seeing red. Forget the feeling of being content. Is this the extent?
What's up, everybody? Another week, another edition of the show. This week, I'm excited to have a band that it's been cool to watch them mature in a very short period of time with their songs, their music. Had a chance to drive all the way down to Philly to see them, had them play at the store. And it's a huge honor to have them here, especially after they released their kick-ass album, The Extent, this past weekend. Without further ado, I have Matt, Rob, and Dan from the awesome band Dead Wrong out of Philly. How you guys doing today?
Good, man. Can't complain.
How's it going? It's great to be here.
Yeah, it is. It's good to be here.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure to have you guys here. As I said, I've had the amazing opportunity to travel to see you guys play, and then also have you grace our stage at the shop. So that's it's pretty cool that I get to just have people come play at my place, so I don't have to fucking go all over the place to see things anymore. But it's a pretty special time in all of your guys' lives, especially as a band, with the release, as I said, of the album The Extent, which came out last Friday. So I'm going to start first with Rob and say, how the fuck do you feel right now about this all being done and out there into the world?
It's kind of surreal because it's been a very long journey. It's been in the making for about 3 years. We've had the songs for probably 2.5 years, and then things slowed down, and then it's out. I mean, we took a while to get it out, but I think I'm super excited about it being out. It's like, now where do we go?
That's awesome. And to give you guys a little bit of street cred here, which doesn't matter at all. But as soon as the album came out, I put it on. My wife walks in the room. She goes, "Is this dead wrong?" And I was like, "Oh, nice.
That's sick.
So that was pretty awesome that she noticed right away. And she's only seen you once. So now,
Yeah, that's
Matt,
awesome.
do you want to give us like the, I guess the Cliff's Notes version of how Dead Wrong came to be?
Yeah, sure. Is my mic working?
Yes.
Okay, I just see it like. Anyways, Cliff Notes version. I started writing like solo in like 2021, and the guy I was recording with, a family like emergency thing popped up, and that was around the time Steven started getting into recording. So I just went over his place and started tracking my solo project there. And that quickly turned into Steven just kind of adding stuff to my music. He's like, how about, he goes, I added a lead to this, like, or I added a part to this. What do you think? And it just kind of turned into a collaborative effort again, like how me and Steven kind of have always been. And from there, Steven was good friends with Rob. I've known Rob for a while too, but those two kind of work together. Rob, correct?
Yeah, we used to work together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which was sick. And Rob or Steven came to me and was like, "Hey, I showed Rob some of our stuff. He wants to jam," and I was like, "Sure, like that sounds awesome." It was just me and Steven at the time, and when we started to kind of write more and get more serious about it, I think we jammed with Rob, and it just clicked immediately. And then we met. Funny enough, we met Dan through Craigslist, which I don't think you hear that too often anymore. But we were looking for a drummer, and sure enough, we found Dan on Craigslist, and he covered a 4 Year Strong song, which is right up our alley. And it was kind of meant to be. After that, we met up with him, and he came prepared and knew all the songs, and kind of the rest is history.
Wow, Dan, what were you doing hanging out on Craigslist?
I know it's a bit old school. I've always, I love browsing Craigslist for music just to see what's out there. But, it's casual. You just like, I put a post up and I saw those guys like the sound. But purely looking in the musician section of Craigslist. But no, it worked out. Yeah, it was a good first meet.
So wild. Love it.
I can't believe it was still a thing back then. I guess it's still a thing now, I guess. I mean, I haven't fucking looked on Craigslist in I don't know how long. I don't know what I need to look for. But now I'm going to... so there comes this point now, the album's out. Rob, you said you guys have been, 2.5 years with songs and doing everything with them. Now that they're out and you guys have been playing them live for a while and the record's out, Matt, like, how do you feel about having to, I guess, play these songs again to promote an album that you've already been playing the songs for?
I feel fine with it. It's still fun. I'm not sick of our songs yet. If anything, I'm more excited to play them because a lot of the songs in our set list were songs that weren't released. So now that they are, I'm excited to see that fan interaction. Because now it's out there for the rest of the world to listen to at home, rather than just coming to a live show where it's hard to hear lyrics and hear words. So when you can sit down and kind of digest the songs like in your car or at home and learn the lyrics, and then coming to live shows, and they're actually songs we've been playing for a while, it'll be cool to see the fan interactions that way. So I'm really, if anything, more excited to play them now than ever.
Good, because I know a lot of people sometimes get, after the long, tumultuous road you take to getting an album out and recording the songs, playing the songs over and over again, and diving through them, and then playing them out before the album comes out, and then the album comes out, and you're like, man, I just want to get on to the next thing, but you have to still work with the album that you're trying to promote. So,
yeah.
Now, I want to get a little personal with everybody, and I'll start with Dan here, and it's going to be the same question for everyone. So I'll go Dan, then Rob, then Matt, so we can flow that way. But I look to find, your first musical memory. It's you're usually a small child, music's playing somewhere, but it's like that first thing that kind of really hits you as a small kid that pulls you a little bit into music, that says you want to know a little bit more. Do you know what that was, Dan?
Yeah, I remember I was living in California and I was watching VH1 and it was a Motley Crue video and I just saw Tommy Lee behind like this like wall of drums. And I was like, oh, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in like my 5 years of life. And I was like, I have to do that. And anything I could find at that point, I was like putting like Folgers cans on plungers and shit. And like I put Highlights magazines on a hamper, and I stole a Fisher Price like little like fake snare drum from my younger brother, just to put this like makeshift kit together. But yeah, I was seeing Tommy Lee behind like this massive kit, and I was like, yep, that's what I'm gonna ruin my life doing. Have a good time doing. So that was it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it right the first time, ruin your life. But so was that like, so that's your introduction to music? Did you grow up in like, I mean, you said you stole something from your brother. Is it a musical household as well? No?
I was just joking with Rob yesterday. I grew up in the music, like my dad listened to like Motown and stuff. So it wasn't anything. I think it was because it was counterculture and alternative. I just kind of gravitated toward it. I was like, I'm going to do this, but nah, no one, not a musical, not a music. I mean, drums aren't the most musical instrument, so it's fitting, but nah, just kind of wanted to do it. It's cool, but
nice. The Crew. That's a good fucking first thing.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
How about you, Rob?
I did come from a musical family, luckily. My mom and my uncle and my brothers, well, my brother and my uncles also were musicians. But my first musical memory, I remember my brother watching me when my mom was out working, and we would play this game where he used to have 1,000 CDs in his bedroom, probably like 98, 99, and he'd be watching me, and the game we would play is like, I bet if you pull a CD out of anywhere in this room and describe it to me, I'll get it right. And 99 out of 99 times, he always got it right. So that was my first real musical memory. And then he also was in a band, and I always wanted to be like him. So I was always like going in his room when he would go to work, and I would play his stuff without him knowing. But then he'd be like, "Were you in my room?" And I was like, "Yeah." So that's my foray of music.
So do you remember like an artist or a moment? I always look at it because I remember my first moment. I was screaming, play it again, but it was on the radio, so they couldn't. Do you kind of remember the first like sound, band, or artist that it was? Like Dan had Motley Crue and
it was definitely Green Day. Like the Dookie album. I remember just putting that on and just staring at the cover art of just all the, what are the dogs? Just dogs throwing shit everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. And then he put it on, and I was like, oh, this is fucking awesome. So that was pretty much, I guess, the first. But music was always around. Like my mom always had stuff on, like the Four Tops. My dad would always have Santana or Aerosmith on for long drives to soccer practices. But with my brother, it was definitely Dookie.
Nice. How about you, Matt?
Oh man, couple things come to mind, but the main thing was kind of trailing off of what Dan said. It was kind of like that rebel-y kind of music that my parents weren't too crazy about. And I remember there was a song, and do you guys remember the movie Resident Evil?
Yeah.
And there was a Linkin Park song that was in that movie. So I was in 5th grade when that movie came out. So I was about 9, 10 years old. And I forget what the song's called. Now I'm not going to do it
Was
justice.
it? It was like a B-side Linkin Park song too. Like it wasn't a popular one, right?
Oh no, it was
Was it?
it was the "Shut Up When I'm Talking to You."
Oh.
Shut up.
Oh, yeah.
That
Those are hybrid
One
song,
step closer. That's one step closer.
dude.
There you
That
go.
song, that guitar lead, and I was like immediately drawn to it. And I was like, I don't know who this is, because back then, I didn't have a computer to look it up. But I remember that was the first CD I bought in 6th or 7th grade. It was Hybrid Theory, and my dad took it away from me because he was like, "You're not." He's like, "I got to listen to this," and he was like, "Absolutely not. You're not listening to this junk." I kind of grew up in a religious household, but my mom's also an amazing singer, and my grandfather was. So they're better. I would say they're better than me. So I wouldn't say I was in a musical household. My mom just would sing, around the house, and I would hear her growing up, and obviously she would sing to us when we were kids, and my grandfather too would sing all the time. My dad's an awful singer. But yeah, I would say Linkin Park Hybrid Theory is what really just kind of pulled me into the music world, and I was like, I want to do this. And like Chester Bennington, his aggressive and like emo lyrics and vocals, I fell in love with it. It was awesome.
Wow. Now you answered a part of my next question, so I'll let you continue. So Linkin Park was the first album you ever bought for yourself. Do you remember the first one you ever got as a gift?
It was a Simple Plan CD. I think it was it was what was their sorry, I'm trying to think of their balls CD. No pads, no helmets, that's it, just balls. Yeah, that came out around the same time. But my sister, I have 3 sisters. Luckily, my oldest sister, Melissa, was also into the pop punk / emo scene that MTV was like running heavily, but she bought that for me, and I loved that CD.
Oh. All right, Rob, first CD or album that you purchased yourself, and then the first one you got as a gift.
Oh, the first one I bought myself was AFI Sing the Sorrow, and went down to South Street and got it from Repo Records. I remember. Felt so cool. But the first cassette that my brother also bought me was Christmas. It was The Offspring Americana.
Wow.
That was a pretty good one, whatever
Nice.
year that was. But yeah, those are my 2 firsts.
How about you, Dan?
First CD I ever bought was Siren Records, Static Age by the Misfits. And it's like really into punk. And it's just an awesome CD. And I think the first one I was gifted, probably, I think The Color and the Shape by the Foo Fighters. Got it from my mom's mom. And I forgot how I even came across from it. Probably listened to like Casey Kasem or something. But I was like, oh, this is different. I didn't know you could do this. So yeah, that was the thing. Yeah, Color and the Shape. I was given that one. But Static Age from the Misfits, first one I ever purchased. It was like $6.
Nice. Now, Dan, from your playing with Folgers cans on plungers and Highlights magazine and stuff, what was the next direct step for you to get into playing music?
Yeah, no, I remember it well. There was like I think it was in the garbage in a neighborhood or something. I forget how I got a hold of it, but it was this Gretsch. Like it's like imprinted in my mind. It was this vintage era. I mean, I should have kept it and cleaned it up. It was this like metallic mint green, definitely faded, this sparkle, this old kit from like the 60s. And it was just like at the curb. And I remember I took it home and like didn't know what to do. I was like, I think this is like a real kit. And I acquired a just really crappy snare drum. I mean, this thing was like a toy, but I think I got it at like what's it called, like the Wish magazine or something. And so I had the makings of a drum kit, and I would make random shit, for cymbals and whatever. I would keep the chopsticks when we go out buy Chinese, get Chinese food. I'd bring the chopsticks home and I'd tape them together, and I'd make like sticks. But that was like, I was like, I had this real drum kit, and this thing was beat up. It was old, and I had this crappy snare drum, and I had my Folgers can. Yeah, that was the makings of a kit.
Did your parents approve of what you were doing at that time?
I don't know that they really cared as much. I mean, I wasn't really causing a commotion. I think the biggest problem is like my younger brother had gotten like a little toy drum set for Christmas, and I would steal his little tiny kick pedal, his bass drum pedal. It was a toy, but we'd get in like fights because I'd give it back. I'd be, I gotta use it. He's like, it's mine. Um, I think that was the only thing that ever stirred up controversy in the house, stealing my younger brother's toy drum stuff. But nah, they didn't care. They're like, some young kid. He's not getting in trouble right now. He's playing drums, but but I was rebelling. I was doing it on my own, so
Yeah.
Felt good about it.
How about you, Rob? What was your like initial step into playing music as a kid? Or some people it happens way later in life, but like when was it and how did it happen?
I think it was around middle school. So whatever those grades are, I think it was sixth grade, maybe fifth. I wanted a bass, and my mom asked my brother. She said, "Should I get him a bass first?" And he was like, "No, get him an acoustic guitar." I don't know why I said that, but so I learned on acoustic guitar like in sixth grade or whatever, and I got it for Christmas one year. It was a Carlo Rebelli. And I just remember my fingers killing me and almost giving up. And my brother was like, "Well, why are you done playing your guitar?" He's like, "I don't know, my fingers hurt." And he's like, "Well, you wanted a bass, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, those strings are a lot bigger, so you might as well learn this first before you go to that." And so that was that. And then I did eventually play bass.
Nice. How about you, Matt?
Oh man. I think my parents kind of realized that they weren't going to stop my interest in that style of music. So they bought me those guitars that come in a box. I've always called them box guitars.
Yeah.
They're real cheap. They bought one for me when I was 12 and I sucked. And I had this little booklet to like teach yourself. And I just quit after a couple months. And it wasn't until I was 16 or 17 that I bought an acoustic guitar. And the reason I bought it was because all my friends knew how to play instruments. Like, I'm not kidding. All of my friends were like, knew how to play guitar, drums, bass, and I was the only one that didn't know how to play anything. So whenever we would all hang out, they'd be like, "You guys want to jam?" I'm like, "I fucking hate when you guys jam because I can't join." So I just kind of buckled down, and the first song I learned was obviously everybody knows "Smoke on the Water," like just playing like the top E string. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody that gets a guitar learns that.
But the first like real acoustic song I learned, it was actually a One Republic song.
Whoa.
And because it was like an easy, just like 3-chord song. I honestly can't remember the name of it, but it was a popular hit back then. And I remember just becoming obsessed. Like once I knew how to play 3 chords, that's all I wanted to do all the time. Like I would be sitting in school going, I can't wait to get home, play guitar and learn more songs and learn more chords. And I became obsessed with it. And then a year later, that's when I started writing.
Wow, that's okay. So you get obsessed, you start learning to play music. So there's that moment where you search out other people to play music with, and you have this amazing moment where it takes you forever and you argue, but you come up with the name of the very first band you're a part of. What was the name of that band, Matt?
So it was a church band. It was called Solomon's Porch. I would say my first like real band that wasn't.
No, that's your first real band. That's your first. That's fine. You don't need to go with the cool name. We're fine.
Oh shit.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Solomon's Porch.
Yeah, dude.
Love it. All right, Rob, you're next. What was it when you did it? What was the name of the very first band?
My first band was sophomore year of high school. It was called Victorian Sky.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Well, these are some pretty names we're going on. Now we get to Dan. What was the name of the very first one you were a part of?
Man, I was just thinking about that. It was probably something stupid like the Emo Kids. We were in 7th grade. And that was probably the name. Emo Kids, playing at the teen center.
Emo Kids. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much.
Emo was still pretty. It was like relatively untouched still, so it was cool.
All right. How about the first concert you ever went to and the first one you ever got to choose to go to, Dan?
I don't. I think it was seeing like. I think the first one I ever went to. I remember the first one I ever went to. I saw. I think it was what are they, like No Effects or something. They were just randomly playing with like I don't know, like No Use for a Name or something. Is it the whatever the Tweeter Center was like 100 years ago? On the inside, and it was sick. I was like, I have to go back to these. I've been missing out, but that was like the first one I remember going to. I think one of my buddies just like had a ticket. And I was like, all right, cool. Like my mom will talk to your mom. You know.
Rob, first show you ever went to, first one you got to choose to go to?
I don't remember if it was 1964 or Rain, but it was one of the Beatles experiences that like the cover bands that like do like really good impersonation of the Beatles, aside of like a real big Beatles kick. But the first one that I picked to go to, it was Thrice, Poison the Well, Hot Water Music, and this band called Vox at the TLA on South Street. And that was awesome.
Nice.
Rob, that's like a loaded lineup, by the way.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a lineup for the ages.
Yeah, like knocked it out of the park with going to that for the first one.
Hell yeah.
Matt, first show you ever went to and first one you got to pick to go to?
Oh man, this is always a tough question for me, because the church I grew up going to, it was a huge church, so they always hosted shows.
Yeah,
they always had bands like that were touring come through. So
DC Talk and all them.
So yeah, Switchfoot came to play there. Like
Vertical
it was
Horizon,
Reliant K. So it was just. I feel like I'd been. I don't know. I was too young to even remember what show it was, but I do have a specific memory of like 14, 15 years old. I really wanted to see Coldplay, and they played at the time it was the Wachovia Spectrum, and that was still to this day one of the best shows I've ever seen my entire life. Just the production value, and you could just tell how much the band gave a shit, about like their fans, and like it was when Viva La Vida came out. It was around that time frame. But I remember loving that album, and that was 2008. So I was like 16 years old, 15 years old. But that was like the first show that I remember asking my parents, like, could you buy me a ticket for the show? And I still remember back then it was an $80 ticket for nosebleeds. And I went, they played the Wachovia Spectrum like 2 nights in a row. And I went both nights because I was just like, I'll do extra chores. I'll do other things around the house. Like, I went with like 4 other friends, and all of us went both nights in a row. And it was so sick. I still remember that show like it was yesterday.
Nice memory. All right. Now let's get down to the nitty gritty of, you've been playing music for a while. And there's a couple moments that you'll always remember. One of them is always going to be a bad memory, where I look at it this way. If you have a bad live performance, you always look back and say, at least it wasn't that. And then you have a performance that you're always going to remember because of the good things. So we're going to start with the bad first, because we need to humanize you all. So I'll start, Matt. Okay, your performance that you've had, live performance that was just so terrible that no matter what happens moving forward, it'll never be as bad as that.
Oh God. Oh, dude, this is so bad. Okay.
It's not going to be as bad as the last one we had. So I'll preface this by where the last guy I had on from Demers, I was like, that's the best story in like 300 episodes we've ever done. He goes, yeah. So we were playing, and within 10 minutes of our set, the owner of the place came over into the monitor mic and said, okay, you guys can stop now. You're done. And kicked them off the stage.
No, I have. Mine's way worse. Honestly, Rob and Dan, Steven was there for this. So this was in, me and Steven were in a band called An Honest Year. And we started out in Florida. So we were playing this show. It was a benefit show for this girl that passed away from cancer. And they were basically raising like scholarship money for her. Her name was Zoe, and the event was called Sing for Z because I guess that was her nickname.
Mm-hmm.
The entire night on the mic, I kept calling her Chloe, and I never lived that down to this day, and it was so embarrassing. Like afterwards, because it was like a last minute gig that we got offered. Like the school was like, "Oh, yeah, would you guys want to play this?" And I just it was so embarrassing because they were like, I remember my bandmates were just like, "Dude, you kept saying the wrong name, you fucking idiot."
How did they not correct you on stage?
They didn't. From my memory, I think they only had one mic. But yeah, you think like maybe one of them would come over and be like, "Hey, dude, you're saying the wrong name." But no, didn't happen, and I was mortified. But they like laughed it off. I think somebody like one of the people that was like running the show, they were like, "Oh no, it's totally fine." Like like her name is like Zoe's not even on there. It just says Z, and I'm like, yeah, and I still fucked it up. It was so bad. I was so embarrassed.
All right, how about the great memory?
Oh, dude. Shit. It's between two. So I got to pick one. I guess, you know what? I'll say this one. It was an old band. We were on tour. I think it was like a 3-week run, kind of on like the East Coast, Midwest. And one of the shows we played at was in Pittsburgh. And obviously, everybody knows if you're a fan of hockey, Flyers, Penguins, they hate each other. So we played at this venue called the Smiling Moose. And it was, I want to say like 100 cap, maybe 125 cap room. And all of us guys in the band decided to wear Flyers gear that night on purpose just to rub the city wrong.
Smart move.
And dude, yeah, right. As soon as we get up on stage and start setting up, the entire crowd was booing us. Just booing us and flipping us off and like shouting profanities. And we are all just setting up and flipping them off and shouting for like, fuck you and this and that. It was just like, but it was, kind of just for fun, I guess. But it also kind of seemed a little like hostile. We were like, oh my God, I don't think they want us to play right now. First minute into our first song, the entire crowd just was jumping and like it was just, they were just going crazy. It was nuts. It was almost like I think we kind of won them over.
Yeah, you flipped them. Yeah,
and it was just so sick. And I remember the stage shaking, like because people were jumping and the whole floor was just shaking, and it was wild. But awesome memory, awesome show.
Oh, nice. Rob, how about you? Worst show ever and best show ever?
Worst show ever? I try not to remember the worst ones, but the one that comes to mind, I don't know what show it was. Was it? I don't know, but we were starting Jaded, and it's our last song. And Dan and I usually have some cues.
I knew you were going to say this. I knew you were going to say this one, dude.
Was this Milk Boy, Rob?
Was it Milk Boy or Fillmore? I forget when it was. But Dan and I missed our visual cues. And I started the song with before everybody else. And I did a cool jump. And the song didn't kick in when I landed. And I felt embarrassed. But that is what it is. Dan and I have since moved on. But best one?
Evidently not, my man.
Yeah. He said the worst. I'm not gonna lie. The best, I really enjoyed playing house shows as a young kid. There's a few good ones that just had like the whole entire like house packed out and like not down the street, but like outside the house and then to the pavement. It was cool. Those were fun ones. But not too many highs, not too many lows, luckily.
All right. Dan.
I mean, I've had like bad show, like I've had the power cut out on me on stage before. I mean, that was like that stuff. But I think the worst one that I remember is I was playing this band, and we were on this little run of playing like colleges. We were doing like this southern kind of run, and we were playing Duke University, which is the weirdest thing that we're even doing this. And it was raining real hard, and we had this like big stage. There was another singer, this woman, and she was moderately famous. So we were like this, the band I played before, and we had this stage that was erected, big stage crew and all that, and there was this giant tarp over top to protect us from the rain. And at some point during the set, I remember I was playing for this woman. I was playing Bad Romance by Lady Gaga, which I felt like I didn't want to do these songs. And a gust of wind comes, and all this rain had pooled up, creating like this like pool on top of this tarp, and it just lifted a tarp and like 20 gallons of like freezing cold rainwater. I'm at the back of the stage. It just came down like a waterfall, like just a deluge. And
Oh my God.
that ruined my day for sure. It was all over the kit, all over the stage. So that one sticks out as like I did not have a good time.
I'd say so.
Best, I hate to say it, but like probably when you were younger, because like everything was new, right? You're doing everything for the first time.
Yeah.
And I remember playing some local spot somewhere, and there were only like a few bands in when I was in middle school, and we go to play and like seeing like, oh, like wow, a lot of people came out to this, right? People that are maybe only acquaintances, and I was like, oh, like this is actually pretty cool then. Like a show like that sticks out. Everything was, you were super nervous, but like you were also excited. You're doing something like no one else was doing, right? Just because you wanted to. So something like that.
Nice. All right, Matt. Here comes the hard ones, and the last person to answer will either cause a rift or be really nice and agree to it. But
Okay.
here we go. Now, no one has ever heard of the band Dead Wrong, and you meet a stranger and you tell them you're in a band, and you have 3 minutes to play one song of yours for them. What are you playing that stranger?
Early on, I would say Jaded.
Take your time just getting back to me as I slowly rise and fall. I'm better off, seems like we've been here before. Never thought you'd get the best of me. Guess I
but now I would probably show them the new song, the new stuff that we're working on.
All right. It's got to be released in the world. So let me.
Jaded.
Yeah,
I'd show them Jaded.
All right, Rob.
Probably Summer Runaways.
And Dan.
Yeah, I'll probably say like The Extent. I really like that one.
All right. That was pretty fast for 3 people to answer that. I usually get one person and they take longer than that to answer. But so then, Matt, would you say what's out there released to date, is Jaded your favorite song you've released to date? Because it can be different than what you've. So do you have a favorite song of what you've released?
Yes, it's The Extent. That's part of the reason why I named the album The Extent, because it's my favorite song and I think it encapsulates the album perfectly. But the Jaded was more of like from a business perspective type, if you want to.
Well, yeah, that's
way,
like, that's why I always say you got to picture that stranger is like fucking Quincy Jones or something,
right?
Yeah.
I think it's a more accessible song. I think majority of people would like that song. The Extent is a personal favorite.
Okay. Now, Rob, do you have a song that's your favorite to perform live right now that like you just like that's the song where you just get into everything that you want to be on stage?
Yeah, and not to be corny, but it's definitely Summer Runaways, just because of the energy in it. I really love the progressions that we play on that one. It's a fun one. It's fast, it's aggressive, but it's also not like lyrically aggressive. It's kind of just having a great time. Yeah, that's definitely my favorite to play. Whenever that one comes up on the set, I can't wait to play it, and I get to yell during that one for a little bit.
Matt, don't put it on the set list next time.
It's getting cut.
Too late. It's already there.
Oh, you're out. I'm sorry.
Nah, we can't play that one tonight. Sorry.
Dan, how about you? Is there a song that you just get really amped up during the set when it hits the list? I'm
gonna say it's definitely The Extent. I feel like I probably zone out a lot when I play, but like when we get to The Extent, like I'm locked in. It's like a very groovy song. And I get excited when I play it. Like it's big and open. And yeah, like I really pay attention to that one. I feel like everyone kind of does. There's a certain current that kind of, I feel like we all feel when we get into that one, but I don't even remember playing the other songs, but when we get to The Extent, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is it. It's usually toward the, maybe like toward the middle or end or something. And it's like, it's a nice little break for me too. But yeah, I love jamming in that one.
Yeah, it's fun, man.
Now, has there been like a moment for you guys as a band, Matt, that like you were all on stage together and you all like looked out and kind of looked at each other and were like, wow, this is awesome? Have you had a moment like that yet where you just like were like, I can't believe this is really happening?
Oh man. I would say our holiday show, I had a moment like that on stage. And not to butter you up there, Rob, but usually when I tend to look over at Rob a lot because Rob's always high energy when we play. So I kind of feed off of him a bit.
Yeah, he does. Rob, you do have an infectious energy.
Yes.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Hell yeah. And there was a moment during The Extent, which was, again, we played towards the end during the holiday show. But that song, there's just like a brief moment where we're just like rocking out for like 10 to 15 seconds, and I don't have to be on the mic. I can just have fun on the bass. And Rob, I think you were just going ham, and like people in the audience were just like fucking mosh pitting and like head banging, and Lopez was like crowd surfing at one point, but like that whole set was just epic. And I think we just kind of locked in during that rocking out part, and it just like I got goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps now thinking about it. So I'd say that holiday show was awesome, and I had a moment like that.
Nice. How about you, Rob? Did you have a moment when maybe Matt looked at you and so lovingly and
a few of them. literally every show on that run that we did when we visited you was kind of surreal because we're still a young band at the time. And then for us to go out and have people show up to those dates where it's actually not like just playing for the bartenders in the band.
Yeah.
That is that's always a cool thing. And then it's also double points when they know some of the lyrics. But also our first show was surprisingly kind of like that. I felt that way. Just it was a free show and we had a lot of family and friends and also new people who were excited to hear us live. That was a pretty good one for me too, I think.
Nice.
Honestly, a lot of them surprised me sometimes.
Yeah, man.
How about you, Dan?
Yeah, I think it was we were playing a fire. This is semi recently, and I think a lot of times like I can't see like past the stage. There's like lights and stuff, so it's very dark. I can't see the crowd, and I do try to look at the guys there. When we practice, Rob's on my right and Steven's on my left, but when we play, Rob's on my left and Steven's on my right. So I try to. It's hard to put together for me after a while. I'm like, oh, this is backwards. But I do look at the guys a lot. And I remember we were playing the fire, and Rob's usually always unfazed by stuff, like he's just in the zone. And Steven's relatively stoic, right? And Matt is, he's doing his thing. So, he counts, but like, it's like Matt's always, very sturdy up there. And we were, I think we got done with one or two songs, or whatever. And Matt kind of walked back at one point, just briefly or something. And I looked over at Rob, and Rob's like, I'm ready to go. And Steven had this look on his face, kind of like, whoo. And then I saw Matt too, and he looked like for a second a little bit flustered. And he was blocking the light in front of me, and I looked out, and there's just like a sea of people. And I was like, oh shit, people are here. Like we were playing last, right? And there's like, bands leave after they play. I get it. Their fans go too. And it was like at the fire's 1,000,000 degrees in there. It's probably like a Sunday night or something. And Matt, the way Matt blocked the light, I was able to kind of see behind him. And I just saw like, the fire's not a huge place, but I saw like all these people there. I was like, oh shit, this is like real. We're doing this. So it felt cool. It felt like,
nice.
They enjoyed it.
Nice. Yeah. I make people not leave unless it's like a gray-haired parent who came to see their son perform at the store. But I'm like, listen, you guys came in, you don't leave. You come in for one band, you're coming in for them all. Like
it's the worst. But like sometimes like I put myself in their shoes and I'm like, yeah, if you can get out, and like traffic. I live in the suburbs, so like getting down the city, like for me, it's like it's at least an hour. So I've definitely been to shows and played shows where I'm like, I could just kind of slip out the back. Right now. Like I'm not proud of it, but we've done it, right? Let's not pretend that no one here.
We've all done that.
Yeah, listen, we've all done it, and I've tried to. That's why I have one coming up of 4-band show, and I it's just because it's a favor, but I hate doing 4-band shows because I always feel by the last one, even I'm like, we can shut this the fuck down.
Yeah.
We don't
good.
Need
we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
3-band bill is best bill.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yeah. Fact.
Dan, that your answer to that made me rethink my answer to the worst show. So I don't mean to go back, but one of our earliest shows, we played this place called Silk City, and this is definitely the worst show.
I know Silk City.
Yeah, this is definitely the worst show for this band.
Yeah, you're right.
Were we playing first that night? I don't know if we were. No,
we weren't. We weren't first. Modern Culture was.
We weren't, but it was a very tight space, and all the bands on the bill have a lot of gear, and there is not enough space in said venue to house said gear, and so the show just got pushed behind by like an hour and a half, and then maybe not an hour and a half, maybe a half hour, but it was also the sound guy's first day, and something just went wrong, and it was just a miserable start to the show where we had to start like a half hour late and made the whole show run behind because technical difficulties and the lack of space.
We also only, I think, got like 3 or 4 songs in.
Yeah. But that was, I didn't mean to throw Dan under the bus for that first one, but the worst show was definitely Silk City for me. That was embarrassing. Because at one point we're just standing on the stage, lights on, instruments ready to go, and no vocals. And everyone's like, play a song. And we're like, there's no vocals.
Yeah.
And luckily it got fixed. But that was one of my most embarrassing times I can think of. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, bands have a lot of gear, and that's why I have now. If you guys ever come back, we have a backline, we have a beautiful house kit, everything's ready to go. So all you got to do is plug your fucking pedal boards in and fucking bring your
Nice.
breakables, and it's over with. Like sound check is now fucking 30 seconds. It's like, all right, that's good, let's go. So
That's awesome.
Love that.
all right. Matt, is there a band in your life, a band or artist that is like your constant that never lets you down when you don't know what you want to listen to? You just always find yourself putting them on.
There's two that I think of: Yellow Card and The Story So Far.
Right. How about you, Rob?
Saves the day. Easy.
Wow.
All
Damn.
the time.
The Black Dahlia murder. I'm familiar with that.
All right. Yeah. No, all right. Wow. Fast. You guys are fucking like prepared or something. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
We're in our 30s, Shane. You know, we're prepared men.
Yeah.
We're men.
Manly men. Matt, what is something that you listen to that you get tons of pleasure of listening to that people would be really surprised to find out you love listening to it?
I love coffee table jazz music. Absolutely love it.
Rob, your guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure. I tend to get on the Chapel Roan train once in a while when me and the lady are dancing around the house. But that's no surprise. These guys know I love Chapel Roan.
She rocks, dude.
She's awesome.
Dan.
I listen. I like a lot of hyper pop. I'm on like SoundCloud constantly. I share some of it with the guys. Maybe they have checked it out once or twice, but
they probably haven't. But
yeah, I'm big into that. I love that. I wouldn't. I'm publicly stating it here, but I love that shit.
All right. Matt, is there a band that you first heard that you thought was complete garbage, but later on in your life you came back and was like, man, what was I thinking? They were great.
Dude, yes. The Story So Far. When I first heard them in like 2011 or 12, I was like, this is trash. What kind of pop punk is this? He's just screaming. Like, this is stupid. Like, because I was used to like Yellow Card, Blink-182, Sugar Cult, Newfound Glory, Simple Plan, like guys that are just singing, so the kind of screamy singing and kind of I don't know, I just wasn't impressed at all, and I didn't see why people liked it. I was like, you guys like this shit? And then I remember What You Don't See came out, their second album, and I was like, yo, this shit's fire. And then I revisited their first album. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm wrong. This shit's good.
I love how it's now a band that never lets you down. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Rob? A band that you first listened to thought was complete trash, and then later on, like, wow.
Probably the Gaslight Anthem, because I didn't understand it at first, and then I'm like, oh, he just wants to be Bruce, and I also love Bruce. And then I'm like, oh, these guitars could be so much heavier. And then I'm like, oh, that's why they're not so much heavier. And then it just took me a while to listen to them. And then I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it now.
Yeah, see, as being a Jersey boy, I'm not a Bruce fan at all. Oof. And because it's just shoved down our throat for my childhood, in the 80s, like he's huge and I'm growing up and he's a man writing music for 40-year-olds and I'm a 10-year-old, so I didn't fucking get it. But I mean, Gaslight Anthem, 59 Sound to me is like, I'll put that in the top 25 perfect 10 albums of all time. Like it is.
That's a great one.
It's just a perfect album. And then someone's like, well, yeah, he wants to be Bruce. I was like, I don't hear it because I'm not a Bruce fan. So it's a nice. Dan, how about you?
Yeah, all right. I'm ashamed to admit this, but the first time I heard Motion City Soundtrack, I was like, nah, I'm not into this at all. This is weird. And then I forget what that first album was called. And then I came back to it years later. I was like, oh, these guys were just ahead of the times. It's like one of the greatest of all time today, I think. But
I understand that though. Like I can understand how Motion City, like when people hear them, could not be a fan right away, and then once you just let it linger a little bit, you're like, oh, these guys, they're just fucking absolutely amazing. I was
cutting the grass one day, and I was like, let me just throw this on, and I was like, oh shit. and realized like, oh no, that's it. So, and that now probably like my top 10. It's just like that good. But yeah, I completely missed on them at first.
Nice. Matt, do you remember what you were listening to the day you got your license?
The day I got my license. Oh wow.
It's your freedom day. Like that's what that's why I remember what I was listening to. So
my parents were pretty strict. They didn't allow us to get our permit until I was 7. We were 17. So I didn't get my license until I was 18. And I'm trying to think, in high school, I was probably listening to Taking Back Sunday. That was my favorite band in that era. So probably something off of What You Don't See, or like What's It Feel Like to Be a Ghost, or that's louder now. But yeah, it was probably a Taking Back Sunday song. I used to fucking blast that band in my first 1996 Honda Accord. Yeah.
Rob.
Oof. I don't know specifically, but I do remember listening to the movie Life, 40-Hour Train Back to Penn a lot in my first car on CD. And also, what was the Newfound Glory movie cover, the second one, from the screen to your stereo?
Yeah, from the screen to your stereo. Yeah, that had the Goonies on it.
One. Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably one of those two, if I had to guess. Back, I don't know, when I got my car, 2007.
Dan, what were you listening to?
Yeah, I had my brother's Jeep Cherokee was beat up, and he had a copy of Smash by The Offspring. Right, I just gotten home, and I think I was running out to get like cat food, anything I could do to like exercise my new license. And I put in Smash, which is a great CD, and yeah, I just had the windows down, just blasting that shit. I was like untouchable,
Nice. All right, hot take time, boys. Matt, the most overrated band of all time and the most underrated band of all time.
Oh God, I'm gonna get so much hate. Also, I want to correct myself for my earlier answer. I said What You Don't See. That's a Story So Far album. I meant to say Where You Want to Be by Taking Back Sunday. Anyways, most overrated band. Shit, I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, and I don't care. The Beatles.
I just did it on a fucking YouTube channel during an interview. I pointed at the camera too when I said it.
Hate that take.
I could get down with that. That's a great take.
Yeah, I think they're super overrated. I think there was a lot of artists and bands around the similar time that were just as good, if not better. And then most underrated band?
Yeah.
Oh God. Shit. I would say for the era that I grew up in, they were big, but I don't think they got as big as they deserved. Cartel.
Right. Nice. Good answer. All right. Rob.
Oof. Overrated. I'm going to have to go with Sleep Token or
that's a good one.
What is it? Greta Van Fleet, one of those two. Underrated.
Led Zeppelin? Yeah, Led Zeppelin cover band. Exactly. Does it worse? Yeah.
Underrated. I'm gonna have to go with Menzingers.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
one of the hardest working bands in the business right now. Like fucking crazy.
Great songs too. So I feel like they don't get as much love as they should. But
love all your takes right there, Rob.
Thank you,
Dan.
Feel validated.
Matt had a good pull with the Beatles. I'm probably gonna offend him, and maybe it's because I just don't understand it. But My Chemical Romance, I don't get it.
I don't get it either, man. You're all good. I don't get it either.
And yeah, like I probably just gotta lock myself in a room and listen like their greatest hits or something. I don't know, but I just can't.
Do they have any?
Again, I'm just not hearing it. I'm not hearing it. But underrated. I'll say this, and they had some moderate fame, but Saves the Day. They just never took off like some of the other bands did. Like Fall Out Boy took off. They got big.
Yeah.
Even and with Cartels, maybe that same kind of like level, but like man, Saves the Day, like they were awesome. They just never really just breached the top. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, they middled. Like
they did, and they were. I mean, they're the inspiration for so many bands, right? They held down that genre, that spot for years. I think anyone who's ever listened to Through Being Cool is like doing something with music today. So just I don't know why they didn't blow up.
Nice.
That's my number one desert island album, dude.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Nice. All right. We're going to be coming into the end of the show here shortly. So we're doing some quick rapid fire. And it's rapid fire really just for the first person because the other people get to think about their answer for a couple seconds. But I'm gonna start with Matt and say you got 5 minutes left to live, meteors hurling into the earth, and you can only listen to one song. What one song are you listening to?
Oh shit! It used to be "Slow Dance on the Inside" by Taking Back Sunday, but I would say that's real. A song?
One
On an
song.
album, a song?
One song.
Oh man, that's crazy. It would probably be either, I would say, "Daughters" or "Empty Space" by The Story So Far.
Right. Rob.
Rosalita, Bruce Springsteen.
Well, Dan.
The Decline, but no effects.
Wow.
It's 18 minutes long, and so I got to.
You get your money's worth.
Yeah.
Song doesn't finish by the time the meteor.
Yeah. Rosalita's like 6, so I'm cool with that.
Yeah. All right, Dan, your house is burning to the ground. All living things have made it out safely, even the goldfish. You can run back in and grab one musical thing that's important to you, whether it's a poster, an instrument, or something. What's the one thing you're running back in to grab?
Oh, my Zill bell that I don't use. Probably. There's still a value there or something, but if I have that, I mean, I'll start my life over with it. It's fine.
All right. Rob.
My jazz bass, for sure.
Matt.
My dad, for my graduation, he bought me an acoustic. It was a Martin D35. So that has a lot of sentimental value, and a lot of songs are written on that thing. So it would be that.
All right. Rob, what album do you think every single person should hear before they die?
Oof. I'm going to go with what Dan said. Saves the day through being cool. Easily.
Matt.
Oh my gosh. Maybe like I'm gonna throw a curveball, like a Michael Jackson Thriller, or like Nirvana's Nevermind, something like that.
All right, yeah, I'd take Thriller over Nevermind. But all right, Dan.
Yeah. Take this. Yeah. Take this to your grave, Fall Out Boy.
Great album. Nice. All right. Well, coming in on our hour here. So before we move to our final segment of our show, like to whoever control. I know Steven does a lot of the social media stuff because he's the one always responding to me. But if someone now wants to throw out all your handles, how everyone can find out what Dead Wrong is doing, how they can purchase the new album, and I will say that again, purchase the new album. Please purchase the new album by Dead Wrong called The Extent. But anybody wants to take a chance now and throw out everything, how everybody can follow you and find out everything you guys are doing.
So, I mean, for the most part, we're Dead Wrong PA on most handles across the board, like Instagram, we're Dead Wrong PA. Bandcamp is a great way to support us. That's Dead Wrong PA. Everywhere else, it's just Dead Wrong. We have a website. It's deadwrongpa.com as well. That's our merch store.
www.
Yeah. If you, a lot of times too, if you just search Dead Wrong, Biggie will come up because he has a popular song called Dead Wrong. So you have to search Dead Wrong Band, and we usually pop right up. But yeah, the best way to support us, obviously, is just by listening to us. Sure, if you want to throw your money at us and rep some merch, go to deadwrongpa.com. That's PA's for Pennsylvania. Obviously, we're like Philly area. And Bandcamp. Bandcamp's awesome because you can kind of just like pay for stuff how you want, you know? So, yeah.
And they do have cool merch. I've rocked it myself, people, and it's comfortable and it looks pretty fucking dope on you. So, bye.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
So we're in our final segment. It is our weekly threes, but since there's 3 of you, you're each going to get 1, and then I get 3. It's something you're listening to right now that you would like people to check out. Matt, give me 1. Rob, give me 1, and then Dan, give me
1. Listening to right now. Actually, I'm going to pull up my recents here. I was just listening to this band called Mad Rabbits because I saw a video of them playing in Prague. They're kind of like heavy metal or like hardcore heavy metal. They're pretty damn good. So Mad Rabbits, check them out.
Nice. Rob.
I really can't stop listening to the new Tigers Jaw album, Lost on You. It's pretty good. They're always a grower band for me. But once you're in like the third listen, you're like, oh, I get it now. This is why they're this good.
Awesome. And Dan.
I just started listening to Title Fight. So,
Oof.
I missed that train too. So, anyone else like me hasn't heard them. It's really good. You should check it out.
Nice.
Welcome, dude.
Yeah, welcome. I think Ned Rustin kicked off our year this year on the show. So.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
All right, so my 3 for this week. My first one is a Swedish indie rock band who just dropped a new album. They're called Makthavasken, Makthavesken. The name of the album is Glass and Bones. Very awesome. It's their 4th album. It's just fantastic indie rock with beautiful vocals. The next is a band called Far Apart. You're going to be hard pressed to find anything by them except for their EP that was recently remastered from 1997, called Hazel. They were, I guess I'm stuck in Sweden this week, but they were a Swedish, like, say post-hardcore band back in 97. And the Far Apart EP, Hazel, is fucking unbelievable. Check that out. And last but not least is a band called Cinema Stare. The Things I Don't Need is the name of the album. If you were ever growing up in mid-aughts and heard a band called Cruiserweight, it is very much along the lines of Cruiserweight. Great female vocals, indie emo stuff. But those are my 3 for this week.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
But boys, thank you so much for being here, spending some time with me. But thank you more so for the music. Yeah, it really is pretty fucking spectacular that I've had multiple opportunities to see you, one, get to host you, and the music that you guys create is important. What you guys do is very important. The music you create brings people together, and for that's where my biggest thank you comes, because without the music, we wouldn't be talking, we wouldn't be friends, we would, like, there's so much that goes behind music that people, I think, take for granted, and it's not lost on me of how important it is what you guys are doing. So thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, dude, for
Thank you.
what you do. It's
for everything.
love it all. Yeah.
Yeah, and your records place was so sick, and
Sick.
Yeah.
I know all of us
that
are looking
was-
forward to going back up.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Awesome.
Can't wait. We'll
Well,
have to get some of these records on them shelves.
that's
Yes,
a
sir.
fact. That's a fact. Just don't drop off like 25 like Paulson did. But yeah, like
You want like
Well,
40?
how many?
Yeah. like five records is a good starting point. And if I need more, I'd just say, hey boys, I need more. But
All right.
Awesome.
They'll be
But-
going out in the mail on Monday.
awesome. Well, everybody out there in the world, you know what time it is now. It's time to go out, listen to Dead Wrong, and have a great fucking time.
Where are we going tonight? I don't care about the place or the things I don't like. As long as you're here by my side, every day feels like June and I know I'm alright. She took my hand in the summer and said, And I don't ever want this to end. Every moment I sink more into you. I always do. Rewind it all to the 4th of June. And I don't ever want this to end. Every moment I sink more into you. I always do. Rewind it all to the 4th of June. Why is it always end too soon? The summer always just me and you.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions to myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.